Okay then, 9:55, and I'm just going to let crude oil go after missing the long fill there at the 15 zone and right off the bell, and then getting whipped around um, in the on the short side in the chop here. Leave that alone. As far as the Russell goes, I have long from deep pullback and then long from a breakout, and they're just whipping around too. They're for the moment pinned inside the open range. And nothing but rips. So anyways, minus 15 ticks in crude oil. Would have easily been plus 50 or better if my long attempted fill did not fill to the tick. Hey, that's how crude goes. She's wild and whippy these days. And we will see what the Russell does. It is still contained inside the open range. 956. Okay, try it one more time. Long from 1168 and 1169. Deep pullback and breakout. If they whip this one, then it's going to be plus one tick, and I'll live with that. As far as crude goes, I was short repeatedly from 77.30, 77.29, 77.25, and none of those stops survived, and now it's traded 40, 50 ticks lower than that. Hey, what are you going to do? It's just the way they ragged, jagged move them sometimes. As far as the Russell goes, if it fails this breakout up, I don't know what to expect from it. We'll see. But sit, watch, and wait mode. 10:04. All right. How about an update? It is 10:18. Currently, I've erased the overall deficit to minus 10 ticks. That would be plus 5 ticks on the Russell. What in the world? My automated stops are not going off. Minus 10, minus 5 ticks in, plus 5 ticks in the Russell, minus 5 in crude, and we're looking at a quick little breakdown here. It's actually rolling through several breakdown levels, so I'm trying to double position to the downside. Overall, as you can see, Russell's still inside of its open range, so and crude oil hasn't changed much. She's just she's ripping. That one slipped a little bit, not badly. Anyway, it is what it is. There's really nothing to work with yet to speak of. I've been long. It's gone 15, 20 ticks in favor. I've been short. It's gone 10 ticks in favor, and it's just doing this open range rip. So no trend, no anything. Just algo tapes. We'll see which way they head next. No bias or opinions. Read and react. Yada yada. Sit, watch, and wait. 10:20. Alright, how about an update? Currently off by 10 ticks, which is minus 5 ticks in crude, and I'm done there, and minus 5 in the Russell, and I have a 10 tick stop, and it's just all it's doing is ripping around, really going nowhere for the moment. And so therefore the game is sit, watch, and wait and do nothing for hours or maybe the rest of the day, or try to catch the next algo rip, such as it is. So that's what I'm doing. Just the charts are neutral, basically. The filter charts are neutral, and so that's where we're at. And I see these as the major magnets, big picture in price. If it works its way sequentially through them, I don't know that it's going to roll back down and fill this gap here at 55, but it easily could. That's well within the Russell's range. Could do that within minutes, quite frankly. So that's that. Crude oil made a lot of beautiful moves in the pre-market, and now it's just gone into wedge chop mode. So for the pre-market traders, it was nirvana. It was wonderful. If you got started anywhere from 3 a.m. to even 8:59, there were a number of sweet swings, short and then long. So that was that. And as far as the stock traders go, we've had nothing to work with yet. But the day is young. It is 10:28. Okay, 10:29. They are ripping down, and I am aggressively managing risk because I don't trust any move here for a single second. And we are right back to that 1165 magnet. You can see how that was pivotal yesterday, day before yesterday, end of the gap. So that's big picture. Here's the micro view. This is a mess, but overall they have failed to go up. This being the open range, and they had a couple of thrusts through. They got sold into substantially. So it's the old rule of if they can't go one way, then they're going to try the other. And so when they failed to go up, and then they started breaking down, that's where the short probes are now. I wasn't given clearance to buy my charts to trade any kind of substantial orders in on the short side because it was in neutral mode at best. So I'm just leaving one contract here instead of two or more, and I'm going to manage the outcome of that. And like I said, currently it's -5 ticks TF, and I'm going to take that to +6. So worst case scenario, if they come back up here and they rip this out, then I'm scratch at TF for the day for now. Best case scenario, they're going to keep going. They're at the bottom of the open range once again for the umpteenth time. So if they're going to snap back, that's the reaction zone. 10:30. Okay, 10:33. Working their way lower. Now I'm going to take all of today's current deficit off, and so that would put me about 5 ticks in the Russell. You can see they just keep testing and testing and testing this congestive layer down here. So if we get one of those random algo pops, I'm out, and then we'll see what comes next. And then if they keep going, I'm looking for more than this. So there we are, 10:34. 10:37. The move went exactly 40 ticks in favor and is currently, reflexing back up off the zone that we talked about. So I am 16 ticks in favor. That would be +10 or 11 Russell to the good and covering the -5 crude oil. So worst case scenario, if they snap back and do that here and it's a coin toss, they probably will, then I'm done for a while. I'm not going to fight chop markets, and then we'll see if something structures out a little later on. Maybe it will and maybe not. So that's what we have for now. Yeah, I guess it's going to hold for the moment. I was just leaving the recorder on in case that ripped out, but so far there we go. Now if I get a chance in this position here at 40 ticks or better again, I'm going to grab it. So if they go back down there one time, I'm going to lock that. 10:38. All right, we will go to '26 ticks, and that would be 21 ticks or so pure Russell. Now they are working their way close below the bottom of the open range for the first time on a 5-minute chart and on a 10-minute chart, such as it is. So if they snap back up, then I'm just going to take the 20-ish ticks and call it, and I'll take a look at the markets again in the afternoon. And if they continue lower, I'm going to look to work this lower and see what happens. So it's just one of them days, trendless chopper, and you're playing the V turns and the way they bang around, and hope to catch something. So 20 plus ticks locked in. Russell looking for more. 1041. 1044, they're on the move. So we're going to lock 31 ticks. And 41 ticks would be here. Going to hit that as soon as I can. They're just sitting right on that from the recent lows. So take that now. Actually, that would be 46 ticks in this position. Let's see, yeah, 330 minus 5, 38 ticks. I think something like that. 38 or 37 ticks in the Russell net, because that represents, I'd have to look, 5 or 6 ticks in crude, but we'll go from there. And so that's the moral of the story for now. They are potentially headed for this zone later, be the 233 in a gap fill. Not only later, it could be immediately, but I was more focused on positive P&L performance out of heavy chop so far than anything else, and that was acceptable to me. So there we go. Anyway, moral of the story, it is what time? 10:46. Might be done for the day. I'm finished for the morning. I'll take a look again in the afternoon around 1 o'clock Eastern, about 2.5 hours. So see you then. All right, update and summation. It is 11:01 Eastern. I exited the last play there at the 1162.7 stop, and it's since rolled down to 58.7. So it's gone more than 40 ticks beyond where I got out, and we knew that it likely would. But that's just an example of me being content with a specific, performance metric hit, and that's that. As it turns out, prior to that sequence there, I was minus 5 ticks crude and minus 5 ticks Russell. And so if you add the minus 5 ticks to this, that makes 38 ticks positive Russell. Had I ideally left it go to the extreme, it went 50 ticks. It would be 50 ticks cumulative or 48 or whatever. But it is what it is. Actually, it'd be 20 more. 38 ticks here. It went 40 ticks lower. That'd be 78 ticks is what I'm trying to say, not to confuse you or the subject. Point being, nobody ever gets everything perfectly. Nobody ever hits it all just right. We make a lot of judgment errors and mistakes, or however you want to call those, in any given day. There is a degree of randomness to the timing of price action. You might be in the right trade several times, and several times it gets stopped out, and then the next time a similar sequence comes along, your stop holds by a single tick, and then the trade goes on to perform admirably. So there's all of that involved in one, cumulative aspect of trading. That's it. But moral of the story, the box score here is 38 ticks in the Russell in a hard-fought, very choppy morning that finally made one directional break down, and I executed through enough of that to make something out of the day. Hope this helps. I will see you tomorrow, and as always, best